What's up, baseball family? Welcome to another episode of Thursday Night Live with the Baseball Together podcast. I'm Brig. I will be steering this vessel tonight. I got Blackjack Brad here with me. He's going to take a drink right when I ask him,
Yep.
how is he?
Yeah, I did, and I am doing well. Thank you. Thank you. How
Outstanding.
are you this evening,
This
Captain
hat is too small with all this hair I got, but other than that, things are great. Feel like my brain is being squeezed. Anyway, baseball
Squoze,
family.
I think is
Yeah.
the technical term.
Oh no. I thank you. Okay. Baseball family, we're really glad that you're here with us. Truthfully, we couldn't do it without you. We wouldn't want to do it without you. And thanks for being here. Always. There are a number of ways to support the show. The first and easiest way is to support us on Patreon. You can go to patreon.com, search Baseball Together, and you can see the absolutely awesome and often ridiculous perks that come between the $1 tier of support and the $500 tier of support that Brad made by himself, promising things of me that I found out later and am actually excited to execute. So if somebody jumps in there and does that $500 commissioner tier, or whatever we call it, then you're going to get some good stuff. At least go look and see what's ridiculous. You can also go to sups.com. You can go to the link in the bio and you can get some supplements. We really like, the royal we really like Bucked Up's products, as well as Universal. If you've heard of Animal Pack, that's the multivitamin that I prefer. And it comes in a powder now, which is great because it used to be a stack of horse pills, and it's way better now. Anyway, Brad, are you getting your daily multis? I hope you are.
I should be, but I'm not.
Yeah, I forget sometimes.
Baby steps, and I'll get there. I'll get there.
Yeah. All right, baseball family, we're going to get into it. You can see what we're going to talk about tonight over on the right-hand side of the screen. First thing is first. The AL Central is unbelievable right now. And its top two teams being Cleveland's baseball club and Kansas City's baseball club, the Royals, they are fighting. It's a fight. It's a battle to the last week of the season. That's what it's going to come down to. Just like the AL East.
I think all the American League is going to get there, Brig.
That's what it feels like.
The Mariners have sorted things out, it seems like, and they are going to give the Astros a run for their money. But man, the Central's wild. Like, it just overnight feels like it got so wild all of a sudden because the Royals came charging in and they're like, hey, we got 4 games against Cleveland. Let's see how many we get. And they got 3 out of 4.
Yep. All right, let's make a run at these guys, which is great. Yeah. So we went and did some analyzing, which is my favorite word. My fiance heard me say that the other day and balked. And I went, calm down. And she looked at me like, did you say? And I said, yeah, it's a joke.
Okay. And yes.
Uh-huh. So we did some analyzing the way we did it with the AL East a few weeks ago, and here is what we have come up with. Going into Thursday, which is tonight, the Royals sit 1 game back behind Cleveland's baseball club. At the All-Star break, Cleveland had a 58-37 win-loss record. Kansas City had a 52-45 win-loss record. That was 7 games ahead for Cleveland. Boy, did that just crumble.
Well, and real quick, Greg, while I was looking at this too, that at one point Cleveland was up 9 games. Didn't make me feel so bad about the fact that the Mariners blew a 10-game lead because it's like
right
9-10 games, right?
Yeah,
and it wasn't that much slower that Cleveland lost that lead because it did completely evaporate the other day. The Royals came back and they tied them. The Cleveland's baseball club, they were able to salvage 1 game in that 4-game series, the last game, to avoid a sweep and get back up 1 game on the Royals. So that lead has completely evaporated.
Yes, it has. So let me give you some statisticals, Brad. I did a little workup, okay?
Move them out, Brig.
Since the All-Star break, Cleveland has gone 18-21 in the win-loss columns. Kansas City, on the other hand, went 23-14. Post All-Star break, here are the stats. Let's start with the offense. The Royals' batting average, this is all team stats, okay? The batting average is at 285, on base 336, slugging 474. They've hit 52 home runs. Their OPS as a team sits at 810, and they've scored 212 runs. I can do this. I know what I'm saying. Cleveland offense, batting average 222, on base 290, slugging 365, 43 home runs, OPS at 655, 154 runs. That's 58 runs fewer than Kansas City. Offensively, Kansas City is stronger.
Well, and you want to know, so here's one for you, Brig. The leader of the pack, the whole thing, right? Obviously, Bobby Witt Jr. Are you ready for how wild it has been for him since the All-Star break? You keep thinking, oh, he's going to crash. No, he's not. He hasn't yet, at least. So since the All-Star break, he has hit 408 with a 473 on base, a 1249 OPS.
What?
He's hit, of his 28 homers in the season, 12 of them have come since the break. He's got 32 ribbies, 5 bags, 16 walks, and only 19 strikeouts.
Whoa. Not bad.
So Bobby Witt Jr. is the man leading this charge at the front of the pack. And as long as I feel like if he's doing this, the Royals will continue to do what they're doing. And
they'll be a threat.
They will be a threat because it feels like since hitting is contagious is where I'm trying to get there, Brig. That's where I was trying to go. Took me a second. But hitting is contagious, and if Bobby Witt continues to hit, I think the rest of the team will continue to hit. I think they're going to go as he goes.
Yep, I love it. For the sake of time, let's move into pitching. Kansas City's pitching qualitatively as a team, 17 starts. What? Quality starts. Oh, I can read my notes. 17 quality starts from Kansas City's pitching. They have earned 151 runs. That puts the team ERA at 4.10, 4.10. They have 7.8 Ks per 9. Their whip collectively is 1.27, and they've had 8 blown saves since the break.
That's the whole year, yeah? Oh, that's just since the break?
No, that's just since the break.
17 quality starts since the break?
Yep.
Wow.
Now, Cleveland, on the other hand, has only had 8 quality starts since the break. They've given up 160 runs. That's good enough for a 4.15 ERA. They sit at 8.1 Ks per 9. Their whip is 1.24, and they have 3 blown saves since the break.
So real quick, for anybody who doesn't know what a quality start is, that's when a starting pitcher throws at least 6 innings and allows 3 or fewer earned runs during their start.
Yep. So who would you give it to on pitching? Because this
pitching overall, it feels like I would still give the edge to Cleveland just because only 3 blown saves. 8's a lot during that time.
Yeah, 8's a lot.
I like that Ks per 9. It's just a touch higher. Like the Ks per 9 is a touch higher. The whip is a touch lower. The ERA is almost negligible.
Yep.
I would be concerned because there's only been 8 quality starts. That means that the bullpen's been working
hard.
So I would be concerned about that going forward. But on the other hand, though, like the other side of the same coin, though, right? 17 quality starts. Your starters have been working.
Yep.
So what do you do?
Yeah. You go head to head is what you do. And it all comes down to one game. Let's talk defense. Kansas City's defense. Defensive runs saved 39 since the break is the team's collective stat. They're at 39, whereas the defensive runs saved for Cleveland is at a 55. Now, Fangraphs has their own statistic that, gauge, well, they have a million statistics that gauge a million things, but one of them is a defensive cumulative statistic. The reference abbreviated as DEF. And the DEF for Kansas City is 34.8, and the DEF on Cleveland is 28.8, meaning that Kansas City's defense is just that little extra better. Pretty interesting stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's talk about the teams that they face through the rest of the season. They 28 games each, 28 and 29. Cleveland will play 3 against Pittsburgh. Then they'll go to Kansas City for 3 games. Then they'll go to Chavez Ravine and face the Dodgers for 3 games. Then they go to Southside Chicago for 3 games. 4 games at home against Tampa Bay, 4 games at home against Minnesota, 3 games in St. Louis, 2 at home against Cincinnati, and then they host the Astros for the final 3 games of the season. Of those, Kansas City, Los Angeles, Minnesota, St. Louis, and Houston are difficult games to win. Okay?
That's a tough schedule. Yeah,
That's a tough
especially
schedule.
going to Kansas City. If they were going to be at home, I would have liked that more for Cleveland, but not as much.
I agree. Now, Kansas City's schedule remaining 4 in Minute Maid Park against the Astros. That's how it starts. Then they've got 3 versus Cleveland. That'll be at home. 3 versus Minnesota at home. Then they go to the Boogie Down. They face the Yankees for 3 games. Then 3 in Pittsburgh. 3 home versus Detroit. 3 at home versus San Francisco. Then they go to Washington for 3 games and finish up in Atlanta facing the Braves for 3 games, the last 3 games of the season. According to all of the stats that I was able to find, the strength of schedule scores are Cleveland has the 9th most difficult schedule moving forward in the American League. Kansas City has the 2nd most difficult schedule moving forward in the American League.
That's crazy.
Yep. That sucks for Kansas City fans. That's great for Cleveland fans.
Well, it's funny because looking at Cleveland's is like, man, I don't love that schedule for them. But then you look at Kansas City's like, oh, I love that even less. So,
right.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Makes sense.
It's interesting to me that St. Louis and Detroit are both largely considered difficult series. And I think that that's true, but those are the bubble for me. It's like, okay, those are 2 teams where they could spoil a series for you.
Right. And
but they're not juggernauts, right?
The way I see it with both of them is like Chicago, you can get away with making some mistakes in those games.
Yeah.
Right. But with Detroit,
Pittsburgh.
Yes, and Pittsburgh too. Detroit and St. Louis, you can take care of business, right? It's not going to be like going to New York or LA, right?
Right. No.
But you better mind your P's and Q's because if you make some mistakes, they're going to take advantage of them and you're going to end up losing the game.
Yep.
Especially in Detroit, really, like those guys have nothing to lose right now.
No, and they are playing fun. Yeah. I think their fun differential is higher than everybody else's.
I think they've loosened up. Yeah.
Yep. And we'll get there. We'll get to Detroit in a minute. Okay, last thing. Postseason projections. According to Fangraphs, Cleveland wins the division 48.4%. That's the going projection right now. The chances are 48.4%. Yep. Kansas City wins the division is a 32.8% chance right now. It's a lot closer than you'd think. Baseball Reference gives Cleveland the edge at 59.3% chances. Kansas City's chances to win the division sit at 29.4% according to Baseball Reference. Now listen, I know we spent the last 10 minutes talking about Kansas City and Cleveland, but don't forget about the Twins, because if these 2 teams wreck each other, the Twins can just cut the air behind them and slip right on into the playoffs.
Yeah, they could kind of like drafting on them.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Right. Like, look at it. It's not that. Yeah, because it's not impossible.
The Twins are 3.5 back. And actually, right now, the Royals are losing at this moment. They're down 2-0. Right. The 7th inning. Yeah, at Houston. So, yeah, that is crazy to think about. That this is the tight race, but then it's like the Twins just lurking in the back.
They're just right there, man.
Just waiting.
Just right there. Yeah, because they're only 3.5 games, according to what I'm seeing right now, 3.5 games back in the division.
Yeah. Yep,
it's just not that far.
Right. No, it's not. Especially since like the Mariners are 3.5 back, and I'm like, they got a chance.
Yeah,
a chance. Yeah, the Twins definitely have a chance. That's crazy to think about.
Pretty tight.
I love it.
All right, we're
More
going to
than
move on to Javy Baez. Let's take us back to Detroit, as we were mentioning before. Javy Baez is now out for the season. He needs hip surgery. He's also been complaining about spinal pain. In addition, I noticed that in some reports today. I was looking for a more definitive diagnosis, and it's all mum. All I've been able to find is that he's going to have an arthroscopic, you know, a procedure. It will be less invasive, the least invasive possible, which I support, but that's the only tidbit we have. He has
just for the
pain in his
hip. Yeah.
back, he has pain in his hip, and they have to surgically adjust something. That's all we know. So,
Mhm.
Javi's been bad, like really, really bad since he got to Detroit, right?
Mhm.
This year is the worst ever. His slash line sits at 184. Ugh, that's second worst in Major League Baseball, by the way.
I think
184,
Rich Garber is the only qualified hitter who's worse than that.
yeah, you have to have had a 250 at bats or something right now, and
Yeah.
I think he's number 257 out of 258 guys, or 400 and I think he's 400 batters. I can't remember. He's the
Anyway,
second to
second
last one.
worst.
Yeah, 184, 221, 294. He's only had 12 doubles, 6 home runs, 8 stolen bases, 12 walks, 69 strikeouts in over 80 games, Brad. Oh, this hurts my feelings.
It's crazy. It's so odd that like just the downfall of Javi Baez.
Well, and it was precipitous at first, and then it has
Mhm.
been steady.
Yeah. But this is a fun stat. So I think that we should start calling swing and miss percentage. We should start just calling it Javi. Or maybe we call it that. I don't know.
The hobby
We
stat.
call him Javi's. So he is known for being swing and miss. Like he'll swing it. He
Yeah.
has never seen a pitch that he doesn't like to swing his bat at. So
Correct.
he's swinging at 52.4% of pitches he sees. That's not just out of the zone, not in the zone. That's of the pitches he sees, he's swinging at 52.4% of them. He's chasing out of the zone. He's chasing 42.6%. So
Oh
the thing is,
no.
like you think that's a high number though, Brig? Oddly enough, it's exactly where he was last year. Like exactly 42.6% last year.
What?
And down from 2 years ago at 47.7%.
What? Wasn't that his first year in Detroit 2 years ago?
Yeah.
This is the third year, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just
Dude.
bonkers. Like there's some improvement there, right? By 5%, but man, he's still swinging and missing and balls out of the zone. That's just bonkers to me. It's all from Fangraphs.
I
But
need him to get things figured out. I have lots of personal reasons why I need that to happen. Um, so is missing some time going to be good for him? Really quick, what do you think? Is this the end of his career? I mean, what?
I don't think it's
He's
the end. He's still
31.
got time left on that contract, and he's still got money to be made, so it's not going to be the end. I think if he takes the time and he just kind of doesn't do anything baseball for a little bit, I think it'll help, right? Getting a
Yeah.
little bit of an extended off season and taking some extra time off. Maybe he goes and hangs out on the beach, something like that. I don't know, and gets a little extra R&R. Maybe it will be good for him.
Yeah, I hope so. Like I said, I need Javy Baez to pull it together. Let's move
Yeah.
on. Chicago, the Cubs. We called to ask them what do they say, and they said Taylor Swift has a candle, and I was like, what? So here's you like that? That was a horrible joke. Did you love it?
It was there.
It was. I just lost it in there. Here goes my looping curve. Okay. Manager Craig Counsell said that he was gifted, quote, a Taylor Swift candle. Taylor Swift candle. And they've been lighting it in his office before games. He told this to Marquee Sports. The Cubs are now 7-3 in their last 10, 3 in a row, sliding into today.
Okay,
Oh
let's
my
look at
goodness.
the Central here for just a second, Brig.
Yeah.
The Cubs are 9.5 back of the Brewers.
Right.
Not going to happen. But
No.
they're 5 back in the wild card. And in the National League wild card, they're only behind the Mets, and the Braves are in that third spot. They're not going to catch the Padres and Diamondbacks. Those two teams are hotter than anybody right now.
Yeah.
But like the Mets could implode any day. We keep waiting for the Braves to implode. It hasn't happened yet. They're 7-3 in their last 10, but then again, so are the Cubs. So,
Yeah.
and this is the thing too, Brig. This is the other thing that really caught my eye. I was like, I know it's the Pirates, and the Pirates are way, way, way down right now.
Yeah.
But you don't just put up 41 runs in 3 games out of just, it's not just, I don't feel like that's just like a hot streak or playing a bad team. That's like you're heating up or
Yeah.
you've been heated up, right?
Yeah. I agree.
And Brig, sometimes there's a catalyst that gets teams to really spark and go on a run. They scored 11 runs in the last 3 innings on Wednesday to win 14-10. They
Whoa.
were down 10-3 and won 14-10. That's
That's
the first time that has
bananas.
happened in the last 7 years.
That's
The
crazy.
team was down 7 or more runs in the 7th inning and came back to win. So,
That's nuts. Do you want to see a picture of the candle?
yes, show me.
I have a picture of the candle. It's
Bring it.
here it is on Craig Council's desk, and you can see the marker. They have a tally of wins on the top left-hand corner. Listen, if you own Candle Babes, bravo. Okay, we will be ordering a candle from Candle Babes because if it smells like Taylor Swift, it's probably pretty good.
Pretty good. So,
If it
and
helps
this
the Cubs, I'm in.
I was gonna say it's only weird if it doesn't work, right? And it's
Right?
apparently it's
Yeah,
working.
that's
So
exactly right. Welcome to Baseball Superstitions. Oh, I love it. Man, I
so
love
good.
it. Do you think they can catch the Braves? That's the question.
Yeah, I do.
Wow.
I
I
think
do
they can.
too, but I didn't think you'd feel the same way I did.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm telling you, man, I think the Braves are gonna fall apart at some point. Like that team is held together with twine and duct tape at this point, it feels
Yeah,
like.
they've got MacGyver in the training room for sure. That's
Yeah.
all that's happening. It's bubblegum and
Yep.
styrofoam, man.
Yep. You're right. Maybe a paperclip here and there.
Yeah. All right, baseball family, really quick. We're gonna jump through where to watch baseball this weekend. We've got the national TV broadcast right here. I'm gonna start us off with Friday. Your MLB TV free game of the day on Friday is Baltimore at Colorado at 8:40 p.m. Gotta love seeing those birds launch them out of Denver. I think that'll be fabulous. Apple TV Plus on Friday. San Diego will be at Tampa Bay playing in the Trop. 6:50 p.m. and Seattle plays the Angeles, the Angels in Anaheim, 9:38 p.m. ESPN Plus is featuring the Mets once again, and they will be in the south side of Chicago playing at 8:10 against the White Sox.
Saturday there is no free MLB TV game of the day, which is odd. And there's no game on FS1, makes sense. College football starting
College
full
football.
force this
Yeah.
weekend.
Yep.
But Fox does have baseball once again this weekend. 7:15 p.m. Pick your poison here. You've got the Braves at the Phillies and the Brewers at the Reds. I don't know about you, but I'm watching that Braves and Phillies series all weekend long. And
Oh,
that's
yeah.
cheese. ESPN Plus, you got the Padres at the Rays at 4:10 p.m. All times again are Eastern.
Yeah, they are. Let's get into Sunday. Sunday, free game of the day on MLB TV. Pittsburgh will be in Cleveland. That's it's very interesting. If you didn't pay attention to the first part of the conversation we've been having, that'll be at 1:40 p.m. Roku features a Sunday game 4:10 p.m. That'll have the Dodgers at Chase facing the D-backs. That is fascinating game. ESPN Plus on Sunday. St. Louis is going to be in the Boogie Down facing the Yankees. That's at 1:35 p.m. And then at ESPN, you'll see Atlanta at Philly, 7:10 p.m. Again, that's ESPN on Sunday. Brad, what are you watching?
Well, before we get there, let's talk about SeatGeek for just a minute because
Yeah,
our
you're
series
right.
to watch are brought to you by SeatGeek. If we were going to games this weekend, these are the games we would go to, and we would use SeatGeek to get there. You can too by heading to SeatGeek.com and using code Baseball Together, one word, to save $20 on your first order. Again, that's Baseball Together, one word, at SeatGeek.com to get your tickets to the biggest games this weekend and any other time as well. SeatGeek is the official ticket marketplace of MLB. Okay, series I'm watching this weekend. 1,000% watch the Braves and the Phillies. I'm going to be keeping my eye on the Royals and the Astros because, of course,
Yeah.
and the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks
Oh, yeah.
because that's huge.
Huge. That's
Huge.
big. Huge. It's huge. I will be also watching the Dodgers play the D-backs. I will watch Baltimore because I need them to lose. And then I'll be watching the Yankees. Hopefully, I mean, I don't know what they're doing with their lives right now, but they need to find some kind of spiritual awakening or something. You're going to give up Patrick Corbin's best game in 100 years? Are you
Dude,
kidding
legit
me?
has to have been his best outing this decade.
I mean, the guy had a 5.75 ERA, dropped it to 5.40 in one outing against the Yankees. I am distraught.
That's
Gleyber
actually so
Torres
funny.
recorded the final out in 2 games back to back, leaving Juan Soto in the on deck circle and runners on. Okay. Whew,
Wasn't he the
those are the
tying
games
run in
I'll be
both games?
watching.
Was he the tying run in both games?
I know he was the tying run in the second game. I'd have to go back and look, but I would
Yeah.
not be surprised. All right, let's do Today in Baseball History. This is fitting. Today in Baseball History, August 29th, 1993, George Brett gets his 200th stolen base in Kansas City's 5-4 12-inning victory over Boston. He joins Willie Mays and Hank Aaron as the only players with 3,000 hits, 300 home runs, and 200 steals. George Brett.
My mom's favorite player, by the way.
Yeah,
like
you
ever.
mentioned that.
Yeah, she's
Super
grew up
cool.
a big Royals fan.
Yeah, love it. Well, baseball family, thanks for joining us on this Thursday Night Live. Don't forget, you can check out the links to all of our sponsors and all of our partners in the description below. Those are great ways to support yourself, support the show. Really quick, don't forget, we've mentioned a few, but the ones we haven't mentioned yet. Zaka is our CBD balm company. We've got Chinook seeds, obviously, best seeds ever for real. And then Seed Sack for your Chinook seeds. So what I would do if I was you is I would get some of the Zaka and I would put it on my aches and pains and I would sit down in front of a baseball game on the telly. I would dump a bag of sunflower seeds into my seed sack and I would have Chinook, Zaka, and seed sack all at the same time. And then you win. Then you're winning.
Sounds like a perfect night of recovery to me.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I do. I got to recover from the night. So I wake up and begin my recovery practice. I got to stretch.
For sure.
Anyway, baseball family, thanks for joining us. We're going to shut up and get out of here. But don't forget, we will be dropping Ball Talk episodes on Fridays, and the big show comes out every Tuesday. But we will catch you here next week.